Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to show you my new purchase, the Staedtler Pigment Arts pens. I am a big fan of the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. As some of you know, I use it all the time. I use water-based markers for basing all my coloring pages, and mostly I go with pencils on top. But they're quite pricey, so I don't have all of the Pitt pens and not even halfway through. And I saw these came out in the beginning of the year, and I wanted to try them out because they are a little bit more affordable and maybe a good extra to the colors of the Pitt pens I have. So this video is not sponsored. I bought these myself and I wanted to do a video because these are quite new and right up my alley. So they come in this box. So this is the front side. So it's from Staedtler. They have 36 colors in this box. This is the biggest box at this point. There is a bigger set coming out in a couple of months. I saw it on Amazon Germany, but they're not yet available for pre-order or something. So I bought 36 sets. This is a fiber tip with a brush nib, so the same as the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens. So it's actually quite good to compare, and I like them because it is ink. So water-based markers is something else, but the Faber-Castell Pigment Art pens and these is ink, so they have a little bit more extras to it than just water-based markers. So this is how the pen looks like, and these are the colors. And when you see the back side of the box, so this is actually a very good box. So here you have like a QR code just to go to their website and see all the extra things you can do with them. These are some of the techniques you can do with the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. And then over here you will see that it is a high quality fiber tip pen with a brush nib, multi-ink. This is the all-rounder for mixed media techniques, for brush lettering, drawings, illustrations, coloring, and that you have to store them horizontally. So don't put your markers in like something like this. So don't store them up, but store them flat, so the ink is flowing consistently during the whole pen. Okay, so when you open the box, this is actually the front thing you can do off. Okay, and then we have a beautiful box with pigment art pens in it, and then it goes open over the top, and this is how your colors come in when you buy it. So this is not a box I'm going to keep because I like to store them in my drawers, and I want to this is not in coloring order, so yeah, this is not something I'm going to use, but before this video purposes I kept the box just to show you guys. And in the what is this, the upside of the box, you have like a little brochure how you can use these. So this is actually what I want to show you today. So they give a lot of things and techniques you can do with them, and I wanted to see how they actually perform. So okay, the QR code is in the box as well if you are interested. So yeah, I made a little sheet on what we're going to do and what they should do according to this brochure. So I made a list. These are the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens on the left of the sheet, and this is the Staedtler Pigment Art pens on the right side of the sheet. So the Faber-Castell Pitt pens, for some of you who doesn't know, it's this thingy over here. And then we have the Pitt pens, and that's actually this. So they are, the Staedtler ones are a little bit bigger, a little bit slimmer as well. So this is how you compare the two pens together. And the nib is actually quite the same, only this nib is a little bit more bigger. Not bigger, taller, but I think it is the same. So a little difference, but it's very good to compare. So if you click the Faber-Castell Pitt pens, you hear a good click. If you close these pens, it's a little bit softer, but they click as well. So then you're sure it is completely closed. These are also light fast. So the Pitt pens, as you see, has some stars on it, and the Staedtler ones have the same stars on it. So if you want to hang up or show your coloring pages, maybe if you want to frame them, they're not going to dull because of the light that is hitting the sheet. Okay, so I just want to test out the pens. So I chose some blues, some oranges and some greens, so it is quite easy for you guys to see the comparison. If you buy the Faber-Castell Pitt pens here in Belgium, it is €3.20 a piece, and if you buy the Staedtler Pigment Art pens, it is €1.40 a piece. You can buy the Faber-Castell Pitt pens open stock. The Staedtler Pigment Art pens, you cannot buy them separately, but you can buy packs of 6 pens. So the pens are like blues together, greens together, yellows together. So you can buy a little pack to replace the ones that are empty. Okay, so in this folder, what I read is that you have some different nibs. So you have the brush nib, those are the ones I bought. You have a pigment soft brush pen, so apparently softer than the pens I bought, but I don't like that. I think it is better for calligraphy or something. You also have a calligraphy pen, so with a flat top, and some normal pens like the Stabilo pen 68 or something. Okay, so those are the pens, and then all the things they are mentioned here we're going to test out. Okay, so the first thing they say, they are light fast, so I cannot show you that on camera, but I will take their word for it, and color brilliance. So they say they are extremely light fast, even after years of UV exposure. You don't have to worry about your art piece will fade after some time. They will still brilliant and shiny. So what I want to test is how the color brilliance is between the Pitt pens and the Staedtler Pigment Art pens. So we're going to try out the blue ones. So the left side is always the Faber-Castell Pitt pen. The right side is the Staedtler Pigment Art pens. Okay, so to start off with the blues, this is our Pitt pen and this is the Staedtler one. So they feel quite the same. I used them a couple of times on some coloring pages, and I have to say that the Faber-Castell Pitt pens are a little bit more softer, but that also means that the tip is not a very good tip anymore. On some pens I have the problem that they are separating a little bit, as you see. So I think I prefer the Staedtler ones at this point for the tip itself. Okay, so these are the colors comparing to each other. So if I'm just looking at this, I see that the Staedtler ones are a little bit more vibrant. So they're evenly covered, both, but the pigmentation, the colors are a little bit more vibrant for the Staedtler Pigment Art pens. Okay, so this was the first comparison. The second one is that you can overpaint. So it is not a problem once the ink has dried. Just wait a few seconds to let the ink dry and you'll be good to go over your artwork with ink and even watercolors. Okay, so this is interesting because I do a lot of mixed media coloring pages, and I always have the problem with normal water-based markers that when I want to do a background with for example Neocolor IIs, I have to be very careful that I don't push my my brush pen to the base, because then it will smear all over the place. So normally with these pens you don't have that problem. You can do a background after you colored the image and it won't affect the base of your image itself. Okay, so we're going to try out our orange. I'm just going to put a layer of orange. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And on this side as well. So on this side I'm going to wait a couple of seconds for it to dry and then go over it with some inks. So again with another marker. And here I don't have watercolor. I do have watercolors, but I mostly use Neocolor IIs. So what I am going to do, I'm going to take my Caran palette. I'm going to scribble. I'm going to take another color. Maybe that's a little bit easier for you guys to see. 1 second. Okay, I'm going to use the purple. So that's maybe a little bit more visible. So I'm just going to scribble a little bit on the palette. And I am going to mix it with some water. So you have a watercolor paint as well. Okay, so they said a few seconds, so I think this is about 20-30 seconds, so we will see what we're going to do. Okay, so first we're going to do the ink. So normally I'm going to use a complementary color. So as you can see, the Faber-Castell, this is the orange one. I'm going to go over it with the blue. And indeed it is completely dry. You can go over with the blue. And then with the Staedtler ones, I'm going to do the same. And as you see, they work perfectly. So you can do, for example, a leaf. You can color it in orange for basing. And then you can do some extra detailing with these again over it after a few seconds. So I'm going to see if watercolors work on top of it. If you do this with just water-based markers, they're going to smear all over the place. Normally they have to stick to this paper, and we will see. Yep, they're not moving anywhere. So the Faber-Castell Pitt pens are permanent. And then the Staedtler ones, perfect as well. So you can perfectly do a watercolor background when you based your elements already with the Staedtler Pigment Art pens and the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. So perfectly. Okay, so those are two techniques I wanted to try. Then the third one they say on the brochure is it's permanent and waterproof. So that means on many surfaces, which means you don't have to worry if a drop of water falls onto your artwork. With this feature, a combination of watercolor paints or water-based inks with multi-ink is possible. Okay, so this is interesting as well. can I combine these inks with my, can I go on top of it with just a regular water-based marker? And can I, when I spill like a little bit of water or coffee on my coloring page, what usually happens because I drink and eat while I'm coloring, I had a little accident with a little bit of wine and it stained right away with the other markers. So we're going to see if 1 drop of water will do that as well. So this is like permanent. So again, I'm going to use the Pitt pen on the left, the Staedtler one on the right. So this is, I go on top of it with normal water-based markers, and for this I'm going to do a drop of water on this page. Okay, I'm going to take a regular water-based marker. This is the Stabilo pen 68. So these are not inks, this is just water with pigment. So I just give it a couple of seconds to see if this works on top of the inks. Okay, these are a couple of seconds. So works like a charm. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to spill a drop of water on top of the ink. It's a little bit purple, so you guys can see from the Neocolor IIs. So nothing is happening at this point, so I'm very glad. And I'm going to see if I dip it off, it's going to give us a stain or not. I'm going to grab a little bit of a tissue paper, 1 second. Okay, so we're going to, nothing. Wow, look at that. If you spill some water or coffee or something on your image, nothing is happening. That is very, very good. Okay, so yeah, nothing is happening. Super. Okay, and then we have the no bleeding and no ghosting part. So this is a very important one for me as well. So we have a lot of coloring books with double-sided images, double-sided illustrations. So we don't want our markers to bleed through the paper. So you can be sure your artwork won't bleed through the paper. So our pens are perfectly suitable for projects. Where also the back of the paper is used as coloring books and bullet journaling or sketchbooks. So this is mixed media paper, so apparently this is not going to bleed through, but I'm going to take just a little sheet of copy paper. So this is just flimsy copy paper, so we're going to see how that performs. Okay. Here we go. This is the Faber-Castell Pitt pen. I'm just going to do 1 layer. So if you are doing this on the same spot, I think it's going to bleed through, but let's test it out. So this is just 1 layer, and this is some scribbling on the paper. Okay, we're going to turn it over, and the Faber-Castell Pitt pens, I don't see any ghosting, but for the Staedtler ones, a little bit of ghosting. It's not going to go through the paper, but some ghosting. And this is multiple layers wet on each other, so no ghosting, and this a little bit. So on this On this technique, the Faber-Castell Pitt pens perform a little bit better than the Staedtler ones, but yeah. I have coloring books with good quality paper, so I don't think I'm going to have any ghosting, but on Amazon paper, yeah, you have some ghosting, but they're single-sided, so I really think this is a good extra for water-based markers. Okay, so let's get back to the comparison. Okay, yeah, this is one I'm not going to show you, but it works on almost every surface. Photo paper, mixed media paper, wood, cardboard, canvas, glass, so they are suitable for everything. Okay, and then we can intensify the colors, so we can layer the ink. So go over the same ink a couple of times. The color saturation and color density can be enhanced and color gradients can be created. Okay, so we're going to test it out. I'm going to take my blue, so the Faber-Castell one. This is, I'm going to do 5. Going to do 5 layers, and we will see. This is just a little bit of copying paper that was coming off. Okay, so they need a few seconds to dry before you go on top of it with a second layer, just to be sure. Okay, so then the blue one, I'm going to do a second layer in the opposite direction. I'm going to do the same thing with the Staedtler ones. And as you see, 2 layers are already a lot more pigmented. I actually like the Staedtler ones a little bit more for this technique. I see less lines than the Pitt pens. Then I'm going to do a 3rd layer. And then a 4th layer. I have to give it a little bit more drying time. Oh well. And then this is the 5th layer. Okay, so indeed you can build up your color gradient. Give it a little, I think you're going to give it like 30 seconds. This was a little bit too fast after each other, but as you see, it worked like a charm. No ghosting on the back, but this is like a very thick paper, so okay. Then we have the 6th technique. New interesting shades can be created by layering 2 or more different colors. Okay, so I think the blue and the green are going to work for this one. So if we make like a little leaf, and I'm going to use it completely wet, and then we take the blue. Yeah, this is mixing a little bit, but not very well. Okay, the Pitt pens, I'm not a big fan of this technique. We're going to do it with the Staedtler ones. Okay, this is actually much better. I'm going to see if I can blend it a little bit. Yeah, you can totally blend with these. So this is a little bit better than the Pitt pens. So the blending purposes, very good. You have also a tip-to-tip blending, so that means that for thin areas you don't have enough space to blend. With the other techniques, use a light color as your brush, then carefully add a bit of dark color on the tip, and this technique can be used to blend colors from different color families. Okay, so we're going to do a test with complementary colors. This is the one you have to put on top of the dark color, so this is the light color. I'm going to do this with the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. So tip to tip. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is not working, not at all. There is nothing blue with this tip-to-tip method. I'm going to use the Staedtler ones. Okay, so orange on top of blue. This is not easy with just a small brush. Maybe I have to... The blue is picking up the orange, but the orange isn't picking up the blue, so... Huh? Okay, so I'm going to see. Look at that. Oh my god. That worked so well. This is a game changer for me. Like for the Melpomene Nipanigyotu coloring books, for all the small details, this is going to be very, very handy. For small leaves or something. Okay, but the blue is picking up the orange and not the other way around. So I'm going to put the blue on top of the... Oh, okay, I get it. You have to put your marker you want to soak up the pigment in your hand and put this on top of it. Okay, so again, blue to orange. Okay, I get it. I'm going to do the same thing again with the Faber-Castell ones, because maybe I did it wrong and I want to give them the same chances. Oh yeah, now I see it. Okay, we're going to do this again. No, they don't work as good as these. Are very good. This is not happening. Yeah, okay, so okay, this is... I'm going to use this technique a lot, I think. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Maybe with an extra tutorial or something. Oh, perfect. Okay, very excited for this. Okay, and then we have smear-free outlines. So this was a very interesting one for me as well. Smear-free outlines. Once the ink has dried, outlines can be over-painted. So this feature offers a wide range of possibilities. For example, draw outlines and objects with multi-ink first, and then add a little background with watercolor paints. Okay, so what I'm going to try, I'm going to use a regular water-based marker, and I'm going to color something. So if you use this with water, it's going to smear all over the place. Like this. like I'm just going to show you if you're not used to water-based markers. So give it a little bit of a drying time. If you go over it with water, look like that, it's going to give you a water painty look. So as you see over here, our inks don't do that. So that's the big difference between the inks and just regular water-based markers. Okay, and then they say you can go around the image. There is a little bit of orange left on my marker. Okay, so we go around the heart. This is the Staedtler one. Okay, and apparently once it dried, you can go next to it with watercolor paints, and it's not going to smear all over the place. Going to see how this is going to work. So a couple of seconds, I just think this is to 10 seconds. So if this is our background and we go to the lines, indeed there is nothing happening. I'm not going to use this technique a lot, but it's handy to know that you can. Okay, then we're going to push to the blue. So I think this is a game changer for somebody who doesn't want a black outlining and you want to use your regular water-based markers as well. Okay, that worked like a charm. So for me, I think the Staedtler ones are a little bit more vibrant than the Faber-Castell Pitt pens. For overpainting, it's the same. They're inks, they're permanent, they're waterproof, so that's actually the same. The ghosting parts, I think the Faber-Castell Pitt pens performed a little bit better on the cheap copy paper. For intensifying the color, I think they're pretty much the same thing. For mixing colors, the Staedtler ones worked better. For the tip-to-tip blending, definitely the Staedtler Pigment pens, and for the smear-free outlining, they worked actually a little bit of the same. So yeah, you can decide which one worked for you. I think they're both a great pen. If you cannot afford the Pitt pens, I would definitely recommend the Staedtler ones to start with. If there is a 60 set, I'm definitely going to buy it. So yeah, I hope this video helped you guys a little bit for choosing water-based markers for your coloring books. If you have any further questions, leave me a comment. I will put all the links and information in the description box, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye!